What's going on, guys? Sebastian Escueda here. So I'm going to do a Q&A for you guys. I asked on my Instagram you guys to ask me questions and I'd film a video about it. So if you're not following me on Instagram, follow me. It's just at TMP. Check that out because I will probably be doing this again in the near future. But I recorded this video previously and I covered the microphone on my phone, which meant I have to redo the whole video. So I now have good answers for everything. But yeah, let's do it. Still possible to do dropshipping without private labeling? If so, how? Dropshipping, it's still a viable source of income. You can still make a crazy amount of money with it. Here's the thing though that people need to realize. People are used to buying products from brands. So when you're creating a dropshipping website, you need to be great at creating a brand for your dropshipping store, making it feel trustworthy and like an actual brand, because that's when you're going to have people buying your product on a regular basis. If it's a product that a lot of people would potentially buy, if you make your website look like it's a very generic product, you won't sell a ton of products. But if you brand your website and make it look very trustworthy, have custom content, and you're still dropshipping, that is fine. You can definitely still pull in a ton of income. It's all about the perception of your brand and your website rather than how it actually is built on the back end. It's all front end and how it looks. So that's my advice. What do you think of Snapchat influencer ads? Very profitable if you know how to properly price a Snapchat page for promoting. I knew a girl that used to charge, I think like $50, and she was getting like 500,000 views on her Snapchat story because she was getting posted on the like the trending page. You know, when you look at your stories and then they pull up like different types of famous people. I knew her and she was getting crazy engagement, and one of my buddies was paying her like $50 for a promo and she was making him a ton of money. So if you know how to properly pay an influencer, you can make a ton. But you just have to be, I guess, confident and know that game, because if you go into it not knowing a thing, you probably will spend a lot of money foolishly and not get good returns. So that's my advice. Is a merchant account the way to go so you don't have to deal with holds from payment providers? I've had to deal with tons of holds. Last year I had so much money get held. I think like $30,000 to $50,000 was held from me, and it got deposited randomly into my bank account when I forgot about it. And it was a nice day to wake up to that money. But payment processor holds, they are only going to affect your business if you don't have any money to fund it. So if you're relying on all the money to keep paying for ads, then yes, that will be an issue. But if you don't have to deal with that, if that's not an issue for you, that's fine. But most people, that's the case. So if you are going to look into creating a new merchant account or getting a new payment processor, you need to open up an LLC, because you normally can't get approved for any payment processor unless you actually have a company opened and established. So you need to do that. Once you do that, it's very simple. There are a lot of payment processors. Personally, I still use Stripe because Stripe is very easy to set up. You literally can just go onto their website and create the account. It's not like you have to go through a long setup process like other payment processors. Earlier this year, late last year, I was trying to get one from one of my software companies, and it took so long to get them set up. And then I forgot that Stripe allowed SaaS companies, so then I just used Stripe and set it up in one day, when most of the processors were taking like weeks to set up and approve myself for the payment processing. So yes, if you need the cash flow, get another one, because Stripe will probably put you on hold. How should we start dropshipping in 2020? Dropshipping has not changed much. You definitely just need to focus on having a great overall website setup that's branded and that has good customer support, and your product is good, your product page is set up properly. Honestly, just take note of the brands that are crushing it right now, like brands that aren't dropshipping. Look at their websites, compare them to yours. Try to become the best website you can, possibly like the best possible website you can, and you should do fine. But overall, dropshipping, advertising is generally the same. Just you can run influencer posts or do Facebook ads. Finding products, generally the same. Setting up a website, basically the same. Stuff is obviously gradually getting more competitive, but that isn't a big deal. You just have to keep going. I mean, people think that things change so much to where it's like there's a whole new strategy for dropshipping, and there are new ones, but the traditional routes still work substantially well. And I think people don't acknowledge that enough. London or States? He's referring to London or the United States. I enjoy the United States a lot. I traveled to London last month or 2 months ago, and it was fun, but I get very bored when I travel. So I've traveled to quite a few places, and after a few days I get bored and I realize I'm still on the same planet. I'm still eating food. I still am around humans, and it's still all basically the same. I'm just on a different part of the same planet, which at the end of the day kind of bores me. So everywhere I travel, I realize that it's cool to experience it, but I don't really know. I like being home. Being home is nice. I'll go out of the state or out of the country for maybe like every few months, but I don't know. I enjoy being home, so definitely the States. Chinese New Year solution, very simple, order inventory. That's what I did. That's kind of the best way to get around the issue. What was your first business or job? So I didn't actually work a job. My parents told me to get a job and I said, okay. So I applied for some jobs. No one hired me. So I was like, F these people, and I started a business. I started buying and reselling iPhones, and then I started ordering products in bulk, like vape pens and like glass blunts and stuff. I ordered them from Alibaba and then sold them on eBay for like 5x to 10x what I bought them for. So those were my first businesses that made me a lot of money. Top 3 general tips for people just starting dropshipping. Learn how to properly find a product that's like actually a winner. Learn how to properly develop a branded websites, and then number 3, learn how to properly market your product. Those 3 things will make you 6 to 7 figures if you master them. It's 3 simple principles. There's nothing complex about that. Can I come live with you and the boys in the US? I think he's referring to when I used to live in LA with 6 people in a 2-bedroom apartment. I don't do that anymore. I live in a big house. I did not enjoy that because I'm a very clean and tidy and to himself person. So like I don't like being around a ton of people every single day. And that was definitely a weird change for me. And the bathroom was always dirty and the room was always dirty. And so I don't think you would want to live there. So I'm gonna say no, but yeah, I don't live there anymore. Do you still live with your parents? And if so, where do you plan to move? Yeah, I live with my parents in their house and I'm completely fine with that. I'm only 19 and I don't plan on, I don't know, I may move out this year. Some cities I've looked into. My hometown, I may move just to a house here. Not positive though, I may move to Scottsdale, Arizona, or I think those are like the 2 only places I wouldn't move to LA, I don't think, because I don't like the people there. They're too focused on materialistic items and just growing themselves, and everyone wants to use you for themselves, it seems like. That's what I got from when I lived there. So I probably won't live there for a while, but maybe Scottsdale. Maybe you'll see me moving there this year. Not sure, we'll have to wait and see. Do you account for transaction fees when calculating break-even ROAS? I account for everything. Transaction fees, Shopify monthly payments, Shopify apps, everything I account for, because at the end of the day, if you calculate out how much you made that last month, and it says you made on books from your calculations $100,000, but in your bank you only have $92,000, you're going to be confused. So you need to calculate everything because it adds up, and you just want to be accurate so that you know. Also, like for advertising, so that you know how much you can spend and still be profitable. Okay, did Kobe inspire you in any way? If I'm gonna be honest, I've seen like some of his motivational videos and they are motivating and stuff, but personally, I haven't really like watched him and been like, oh wow, he's very inspiring. I don't really get that way though. I've been running businesses my whole life. It's just in my blood, I guess. That's how I operate as a human. So I don't really get inspired and like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna do that, so I'm driven. It's more so like I see people having less than myself. Like when I went to Costa Rica and I realized they live on $500 a month, that was motivating and inspiring because I was like, wow, these people make close to no money and they're still super happy. I can go back to California and I could potentially make $500 a day, and I should probably do that because that's, if I can, why not? So I get inspired by people that are living on such little and still are so happy. That inspires me more than seeing, someone like Kobe. But I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying that's how it works for myself. What do you do when your Facebook page score gets penalized? I've never had that happen. I don't actually know what you're referring to, so I don't have no answer for you. How has your life changed since making so much money? Life for me, last year, I went from having made a few $1,000s a month to pulling in I was probably getting at my pinnacle of last year, $10,000 to $20,000 deposits every single day for a while. So last year definitely made me realize a ton of things. One, when you have money, you don't have to worry about shit as far as buying food, going out of town, traveling, booking flights, going out of the country, buying people gifts. You can really do whatever the F you want. But you start to realize that money isn't everything. And there are a lot of things in life that need more than just money. Like, I would rather be decently well off than be a billionaire, decently well off and have a good, circle and have a good family connection with my family than be the richest man in the world and have no one around me, because I would just be lonely. That's being completely honest. So, money solves a lot of problems, but it doesn't make you happy necessarily. It definitely allows you to do more, but I don't know. Once you start doing a lot of the things, you realize, like, I get kind of bored of doing a lot of stuff traditionally that people are excited to do and like look forward to, because it's just like, I don't know. I think there's more than just going to visit the Eiffel Tower and looking at a building that humans built. I don't know. I'm kind of weird though, so don't take this with a grain of salt. But that's my thought on money. You got that Mamba mentality. Thanks, I guess. Which is your favorite book? I don't really read books, so I can't really answer that because I don't have any good references or good answers. Private branding prices for manufacturing and supplies, please. I don't really know what that means, so we're gonna skip that. Scaling, I think he's referring to scaling a dropshipping store. Find out what your target audience is, find out what winning ad sets you have, and scale the shit out of them. I think a big thing is making sure you have enough money to scale though, because there's a certain point where you have to spend a decent amount to get to that point where you understand what your target audience, what are your winning ad sets, and all of that stuff. And before then, you spend a decent amount of money. So if you don't have enough to scale or to get to that point, you won't scale. It's kind of like for myself, when I was in London, I think it was London, I could be wrong, and I was at a casino, and I had a strategy when I was playing roulette, which is basically betting on one color the whole night. And starting with the minimum bet, and if I lose, double my bet, and if I lose again, I keep doubling my bet to basically eventually the color will change to my favor. And so if I didn't have enough money, that strategy would not work. But since I pulled out enough money out of the bank, I could do this strategy, and eventually the color would change, meaning eventually I would hit and make a shit ton of money. But until then, I just had to wait to find that perfect point. That's not a great gambling strategy if you don't have a ton of money, because you'll lose if you don't have enough to continuously cover your ass. But that's my reference for scaling. You have to spend a ton of money to figure out exactly what your target audience is, and then once that time comes and once you have enough data to scale with LLAs, boom, then you can make a ton of money. But until then, it's a little tough. So that's my advice. All right, that's all the questions we're gonna answer today because it's already been 15 minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed this little Q&A. Got a little insight to my mind and what I think about, and questions and answers I have for all of you guys. So hope you enjoyed this. If you did, smash that like button, click subscribe, and drop a comment below if you haven't already. If you wanna say what's up or ask a question, you can always do that. But I have some plans for this week. So tomorrow I'm starting a TikTok challenge where I'm basically going to take a product that I found on TikTok and then create a website and then find influencers, ship them the product, have them make TikToks and promote the product, and see how much money we can make. It's gonna be a long process. It's probably gonna be this whole week's videos. So hope you guys enjoy this. It's gonna be very, very time consuming for myself, but they're all gonna be longer videos and more in depth. Literally me doing all of the shit that you guys are curious about, like how to run a dropshipping business. So I'm gonna show you all of that. Hope you guys do look forward to that. And other than that, I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.